I would like to share with you an amazing story that I read about tzedaka, about giving charity. There was a very wealthy man that one day he lost all his money and he became very, very poor. He was very, very worried all the time. I don't know what to do, and he was stressing, and rightfully so. He had a lot of money, and all of a sudden he lost everything. Every time he would walk around and he would sigh and he would smack his forehead and tell his wife, I don't know what to do, and he would, sit there like this, I don't know what to do. And his wife said to him, relax, Bezrat Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to give it back to us. And it was getting worse. And he couldn't make every deal he was going sour. So what did he do? He decided to sell his furniture. And he started selling things, used furniture. He had beautiful things. He started selling everything, all the way till the candlesticks of his wife. Everything, his wife's candlestick. There's nothing that he left besides for the ring that he got. He married her with. Everything he sold. They were sitting there like avelim on the floor. They were sitting on the floor. They had nothing. And he decided, all my deals aren't working through. Nobody's going to lend me another $1. I might as well get myself hired as a worker and get a couple of dollars at least. Maybe we'll have some bread to eat, something. So he gets himself hired to work, to plow in the fields. And one day, Eliyahu Navi came in a disguise as a Ishmaeli, as an Arab. He couldn't recognize that it was Eliyahu Navi. And he tells him, oh, sir, how are you? So the guy says, how are you? I'm working. What do you want? So he tells him, I'm looking at your forehead, and it says on your forehead that you have in your future 7 more years to be wealthy. So he asks him, when do you want those 7 years? Now? Or when you're going to be old and you won't have any energy to work anymore? So it's like a security that you'll have it for your pension. Save it for that time. The man says, I don't know what you want from me. If you're trying to get me to trick me into having to give you a couple of dollars, I don't have anything. I'm totally broke. Just leave me alone. I'm working hard. You don't see I'm working hard over here? Get out of here. So, he goes away. About an hour later, the Ishmaeli, the Arab, comes again to him. Says to him, listen, I want you to think about what I'm telling you. Do you want it now or later? The guy says, do me a favor. Leave. I can't imagine you're still standing in front of me. I'm going to close my eyes. You there? No, you get out, no. So Ishmaeli goes away. He's like, I can't handle it. The guy was starting to panic. From the stress, he couldn't even think straight. So, Eliyahu Navi an hour later comes to him and he says, please, take me seriously. Think of what I said. It's for your good. Pick. Do you want to be wealthy 7 years now? Or do you want to be wealthy at the end of your life? It's going to be a nice retirement plan. And you're going to be able to have your 7 comfortable years, and that's it. So the guy decided to give him a second glance, and he says, you know what? Let me ask my wife. Wait here. I'm going to go ask my wife. So he goes to ask his wife, and his wife tells him, tell him we want the money now. Right now we want the money. Right now we're stressing and this, we want the money now. Most people would have thought, listen, maybe it's a good idea to wait for the retirement. Right now maybe he's going to be able to deal with it, but when he's going to be retired, his wife said, no, now I want the money now. Okay, I want the money now, you want the money now. He goes back, he tells him, listen, we want to be rich now. He says, you want to be rich now? Go home. Go home, leave your work, put your shovel there, go work, go home. And you'll be rich. The guy says, you know what? If I already went to my wife to ask her, and I already started playing along with this whole craziness, I might as well just go home, let's see what's going to happen. I'm anyways making pennies, and nothing's going to happen if I had these pennies or I didn't have these pennies. Let me go home, we'll see what's going to happen. On his way home already, this is happening before he even got home. His children were playing with the shovel in the front yard, and they were playing, and all of a sudden they stumbled upon a box. And they hit it, and they call their mother, and the mother says, move, keep shoveling over it, clear it up. And they found there was a big jug. And there were more jugs. And all these jugs were sealed, and each one of them had a bunch of gold coins in it. And they started making piles and counting them based on the different currencies, and they put it all up on the tables. In the meantime, he comes over and he's like, "What's going on over here?" So his wife tells him what happened. He's like, "Wow, this person must have been Eliyahu Hanavi." He realized. It must have been Eliyahu Hanavi. He said 7 years. In the meantime, his wife tells him, "Listen, 7 years, but we got to work hard. During these 7 years, this money is a pikadon. It's here for us to hold on to. It's not for us for forever. We know that it's going to be taken away in 7 years from now. We got to maximize it. What do we need to do? We got to give tzedaka. A lot of tzedaka. Talmidei Chachamim. You have people studying Torah. Give them money, support them. Paupers, support them. Older people that can't afford, that don't have a good pension plan, a good retirement plan. Help them. Help the orphans. Help. And she decided to make a spreadsheet, and every single penny, every single coin that she would give to tzedaka, the family would give to tzedaka, she made one of her children responsible, and he has to write down every single coin. And at the end, at the end of every month, they would make a calculation, and then they would move on to the next spreadsheet. All the time. For 7 years. He was known to be the biggest Baal Chesed. At the end of 7 years, he was in the marketplace looking for some bananas, and all of a sudden he sees this Ishmaeli, this Arab. Again, Eliyahu Hanavi. At this point, he's already guessing, he knows who he's talking to. So he says, "Okay, it's time for you to cough up your wealth. 7 years, no excuses, I don't want to hear anything, that's it." So he tells this Ishmaeli, he tells the Arab standing in front of him, "Please, when I took the money from you, I did it with my wife's advice. I went, I spoke it over with her, and then we took the money. Now, before I give it to you, let me go see what she has to say. Maybe you're telling me no excuses, I have to deal with my wife afterwards. Let me go hear what she's going to have to say. Please." So he says, "You know what? That's a smart idea. Go speak to your wife." Goes to his wife, and he tells her, "Listen, 7 years. I met him in the marketplace. He wants the money back." She says to him, "Okay." Quickly she takes all the sheets and she makes a quick math of all the money they gave to tzedakah. And she says to him, "Listen, please give him all this. Show him all that paperwork over here and tell him, listen, we know that it was just a temporary wealth. But we know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the reason why He gives somebody wealth is in order for them to give for the tzedakah to the people, to help people out. Find somebody else that will do tzedakah like we do, and then I'll be willing to cough up this wealth. Otherwise, I'm not giving it to him." So he looks at it and he says, "You know what? It's true. You did such a good job that if you continue like this, there's nobody else who's going to give tzedakah like you." And he let them keep the money. What do we see from this? There is two things. One is the word tzedakah. The word tzedakah, why is it called tzedakah? It's righteous. From the word tzedek. Righteous. Because when we give tzedakah, is because the money is rightfully belonging to that person. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created a balance. He gave the money to the wealthy person in order to see if he's going to do mitzvot. What is his mitzvah? Around him in the city, there's some people who need help. The money really belongs to them. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to create a balance. Some people should have to daven harder, to pray harder to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that they should get parasha. And some people to see if they're able to fulfill their requirements by giving the tzedakah. Everybody has his own tests in this world. We have no idea why. But when HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave somebody money, the money that he's giving, it doesn't even really belong to him. It belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and he's just there on a mission to give it out. And therefore, when a person gives the tzedaka, it's righteously his person. It belongs to that person. And he's supposed to give it to him. A person shouldn't say, look, I support. No. The fact that you're giving is the reason why you still have. That's what we see from the story. It's an amazing, amazing story. And that's why it says in this week's Parasha, V'yikhu li teruma. They should take from what belongs to me and give teruma. And they should give a teruma, they should give a donation to the Beit HaMikdash. What do you mean take from my own? V'yikhu li et terumati, my donation. Is it my donation? Says HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's what is really mine they're giving. And that's this week's Parasha. It's an amazing thing that if a person thinks about it. The Chovot HaLevavot, Baruch Hashem, I have the zechut to study with a family member. I learned with him Chovot HaLevavot. Shara Bitachon. 2 or 3 times a week we get to learn for half hour. We learn. This week we saw something incredible. After the Chovot HaLevavot says that a person should spend all his day thinking how HaKadosh Baruch Hu can do anything for him. And technically speaking, he should be able to sit back on the couch, throw up his legs, and wait for the money to come, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to give it to him. If he has the exact trust in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But, why does HaKadosh Baruch Hu want us to go to work? Why does HaKadosh Baruch Hu want us to make a living? One of the reasons, he says, is because HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to see if we're going to use, if on a hard day, how we're going to balance our work. For example, a person has a bad day and he thinks, I'm not making money, maybe I should do something that's not so kasher according to halakha. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to see, where is that level of trust? Are we going to do something that is wrong according to hilchot, to dinah Torah, or not? So now let's take one step back. The question is, last week's parasha was Parashat Mishpatim, and this week's parasha was Parashat Teruma. And the week before Parashat Mishpatim was Parashat Yitro. What is the reason why HaKadosh Baruch Hu stuck in between Parashat Yitro and Parashat Teruma, building the Mishkan? He stuck in all the monetary law. Mishpatim, the laws, the judgments. There's 2 reasons. Many reasons. But 2 that we'll talk about. 1, to tell us that even when it comes to monetary law, it's right next to Matan Torah. It's right there next to Har Sinai. It was also given to, there's no such thing as a person can say, business is one thing, and Torah, when I come to shul, is another thing. No, it's really one thing. It's one thing. A person has to know that it's important that he has to follow the halachot of the Torah, even when it comes to money. And there's another reason. Because this week's the Teruma, to give tzedaka, Kadosh Baruch Hu says, listen, don't do something wrong according to halacha and then give me tzedaka. That's not the way I want to do it. I don't want you to make money, earn a living in a way that is not true, is not proper according to the Torah, to cheat, to take interest from another Jew, etc., etc. So, what I want you to do is make sure, first learn the laws, the mishpatim, how to properly earn a living, and then after that, when you give a donation, it's a clean donation. Because that money belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When the money belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you don't want to give something that belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that it's tainted. It's not even if HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants it to be by us, by right. That it really should come to us, and then we should give it tzedaka. That's very important. This week, B'ezrat Hashem, we're not going to speak about halacha and choshen mishpat. Next week, B'ezrat Hashem, we'll continue with that. But this is an idea a person should know how HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to see that when we go out to work, that we're going to go out and make sure that we're working properly. And that's why Parashat Mishpatim came before Parashat Teruma. And when a person, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, gives us money, he wants to see that we give tzedaka, and we give tzedaka also according to halacha, that we didn't take money that wasn't ours, made it ours by cheating, and then gave tzedaka. That's not another way. We see all these different things, and in B'ezrat Hashem, Hashem is zakenu, that we should be able to give tzedakah, and we should be able to learn the dinim of choshen mishpat, and to properly conduct our lives, conduct our businesses according to halakha. Shabbat shalom.